Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm bringing to you 8 books with dogs in them. I'm a very dog-loving person, and if I can change the world, I'll just change it to have dogs and dog people alone to exist in the planet. And I'm sure that many of you guys also like dogs, and if you don't, please do let me know down in the comments why you don't like them, because it's such a very different thing. It might be rooted from some kind of fear, probably. And also, if you do have some books that have dogs in them as recommendations apart from the books which I am talking about in this video, please do let them also down in the comments, because I'd like to know them and I'd like to read them in the near future as well. So without any further ado, let's get into the books right away. And in this list, I'm having 6 fiction books and 2 non-fiction books. So those 2 books will deal with dogs from real life itself. The first book in this list is the book which gave me the idea to make this video, and it is Chicken Soup for the Soul, The Magic of Dogs by Amy Newmark. Now this is a book in the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, which is a series of books that accumulate real life events from different people in order to give us hope and make our hearts warm in order to carry on with our lives. This book is very special because it deals with the stories of 101 different dogs in real life, and most of these stories have taken place during the time of the pandemic, that is between March and December of 2020. This book was just released this year, so it hasn't covered most of the stories that have happened in this year, that is 2021. I actually listened to this book over a week's time as my morning audiobook while I was walking, and trust me, every story that was in this book made me smile at least a little bit. And there are also some stories which make you cry, not out of sadness but happiness and the warmth that you feel inside your heart. This was definitely a wonderful book, and it helped me have a very positive attitude in order to carry out all the works that I had throughout the week. So if you've not listened to it or read it, please do go forward, and I listened to it as an audiobook in Storytel. You can definitely find that if you're interested. The next book in the list is Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. Now in this book, we have this guy named Simon who's not so openly gay, and he's sharing these secret emails with this other guy named Blue under the pseudonym of Jack. And what happens is there's this other guy who finds out what's happening, and he blackmails Simon in order to do some work for him, otherwise he'll out him. This is definitely one of the most heartwarming books that you can ever find out there, and the story is also very sweet and pleasing throughout. Towards the end, you'll just feel so happy to have read this book, and I can easily say that this is a perfect book for young adults and teenagers as a whole. Even adults can read it and enjoy it the whole time, but I think it'll have even more impact when it comes to young adult readers rather than adult readers, because it's just perfectly written for the young adults. And our main character in this one, Simon, he has a dog named Bieber. He's just existing in the story. He doesn't have like a huge part or anything, but there are also some cute things that he does just like any other dog that come in within the story. There's also this movie adaptation of the book named Love, Simon. In that also the dog is starred, so you can definitely watch the movie also after reading the book. It's definitely a very fun-filled, heartwarming book. Please do give it a try. Next we have To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. Now in this book, there's this little dog named Jamie Foxpickle who enters the family of the main character Laura Jean as a Christmas present to her younger sister named Kitty, and there are some very cute scenes involving this dog in the entire book. There's the scene in which the main character and 2 other people are making cupcakes, and this little dog, he's just sitting beside them near the leg of the desk, and he's trying to get some cupcakes from them. It's definitely a very cute scene. There are also multiple scenes involving the dog in this book, in the second part of the book, and also in the further books in the series. I'm currently reading the second book. I listened to this one also in audio. It was really a very fun-filled book, and the sibling relationship and the family bonds in this one was so beautiful. So definitely a heartwarming read again, and you should read the book just for the dog itself. He's like a very tiny dog, like a Chihuahua, but I'm not sure what the breed of the dog is in this book. But seriously, the dog does have a really important role to play in this one, and he also adds on a different layer of cuteness for the entire story as a whole. So please do go forward and try it. Next we have a mystery novel, and it is The Sign of the Four by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Now this is the collection of all the 4 novels in the Sherlock Holmes collection, and the second novel in this collection is The Sign of the Four. The mystery in that one is also really well explained, and the world building of the author in that story in specific was really good. I loved it a lot, and it is very atmospheric. We have a very important character named Toby who helps Sherlock in solving this mystery and putting an end to that case, and that special person who helps Sherlock in solving the case is a dog named Toby. Okay, he's kind of like a stray dog, but he is tamed by this woman named Mrs. Sherman, and I'm sure without that dog, that mystery would not have been solved at all. And he also has this very peculiar way of running rather than just drifting slowly in order to keep up with the human beings. He just runs off, and both Sherlock and Watson keep on chasing him in order to uncover what are the things that he is trying to convey to them through his sniffing abilities. So the dog in this one is a really important character for the story itself to progress. So please do go forward and try it. It's a bit tough to read, but you should read it for the dog. Next we have a dystopian book, and it is I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. Now this is a really old book, but it is easy to read comparatively. The story actually takes place in an apocalyptic world where all of the human population has either died or turned into vampires, and there's this only one human being named Robert Neville who is surviving, and he's trying to guard himself away from the vampires, and also he's trying to find a cure for the vampires because the vampires in this world have been created due to a disease. Now in this story we have this family dog of Robert Neville called Sam, and there's this particular chunk of the story in which Sam comes in, and the dog does not have an important role to play in the book, but he lightens the tone of the story because it is a really dark, depressing, hopeless book. There's also a movie adaptation for this book called I Am Legend starring Will Smith. It is available on Amazon Prime Video if I'm not wrong. You can go and check that out if you're interested. In the book, the dog does not have much of a role to play rather than to just lighten the tone of the story and provide us some time to breathe. But when it comes to the movie, the dog has a really important role to play, and I can say that the main character survives to the end of the story just because the dog was there during a particular instant. The dog literally saves Robert Neville, who's our main character in the movie. So definitely go forward and check this because the dog again has a really important role to play in this one. Next one is a historical fantasy series, and it is The Last Stars by Cassandra Clare. Now this is the sequel to the Infernal Devices series, so in order to read this, you'll have to finish reading all the 3 books in the Infernal Devices and then come here. Now we have this dog named Oscar Wilde, who's a golden retriever, and he belongs to one of our main characters, Matthew Fairchild, in this one. The special thing about the owner and the dog is that both of them are golden blondes, so golden retrievers have golden hair, right? And our main character, who is his human, Matthew Fairchild, also has golden hair, and they are so similar, okay? They are just like 2 golden retrievers, but one is in the form of a dog and one is in the form of a human. It's like that. Again, the dog does not have such an important role to play in the books, but the inclusion of him inside the story just makes it so much rich. And also the name of the dog itself, Oscar Wilde, is something which is so peculiar to name a dog, and I can definitely say this is a series which is super rich and very atmospheric. If you're into reading like royalty and stuff like that, I'm sure that you will enjoy the series. But please do make sure to finish the Infernal Devices and get here, because that one is just like 3 books which are diamonds, and leading up from that to this one will definitely enhance your experience, and you'll also love the dog. Next we have a very famous memoir, and also it is one of my most favorite memoirs. It is Becoming by Michelle Obama. Now you can think that it's a political memoir, and how can a dog be included in the memoir of a political person or a political personality? But it's definitely not a book like that. It is a book which actually deals with the life of Michelle Obama herself and not Mrs. Obama. I can say that she has included each and every person who has changed her life and made a positive impact in it, with all due respect and gratitude completely. And she has gone to such an extent that she has included their family dog, who's Bo, and that's the small chunk of the book which deals with her going to shopping along with this dog named Bo, and that is also a really refreshing part inside the story. This book as a whole itself is very inspirational and super well written. I'm sure that whether you're a beginner or you're a person who's used to reading many non-fiction books and especially memoirs and biographies, I'm sure you will enjoy this. I think everyone needs to read this, and I also listened to this in audio as well. It is narrated by Michelle Obama herself. She's not just a really good writer but also a super good speaker. I'd highly recommend you to listen to this on audio in her own voice itself, because it was just so good, and I can say that it is a very inspirational book rather than anything, and the inclusion of the dog as a part of her life was something which just stood out a lot for me. The last book that I'm going to recommend is definitely a book in which the dog part of the storyline ends up in a sad way, and it is The Boy Who Loved by Durjoy Datta. This book definitely is a sad book on its own, but the specific part of the story which deals with the dog is definitely ending in a really sad way. That's one of the main reasons why I'm recommending it last, because all of the other books are hope-filled and heartwarming when it comes to the dog part, but this one is definitely not like that. Here we have our 2 main characters, Raghu and Rami. They are trying to help this dog who is giving birth to some puppies, and it doesn't happen in a single day as well. They are used to seeing this dog for quite a few days during a particular chunk of the book, and I can say that for the 100% of the book, at least 15 to 20% of the book deals with that incident with this dog, and it is also really sad and so original compared to anything else. Another important thing which I want to tell is that this is the only book in which I saw the word bitch used in the proper sense, because bitch means female dog, and it is always used in a really bad sense, and it is commonly considered as a swear word when it is definitely not, according to me at least. Many of us use that word in order to just curse at people, but this is the only book in which I saw that the word bitch was made use of in the correct sense, and that is definitely something which I respect about this book. So do go forward and try it. It's a depressing book, keep that in mind while you're getting into it, but it's definitely a very entertaining read, and the character examination in this one was super good. So yes guys, those are the 8 books that I wanted to recommend to you guys which had dogs in them, and I'm sure that you might have also read at least 1 book or 2 that have something to do with a dog in them. And if there are any books that are not in this list, please do let me know down in the comments, because I definitely want to read more books with dogs in them, and I hope to read more in the near future. And if you did enjoy watching this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. If you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel, because I publish new videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.